Attention! The National Weather Service has issued a hurricane warning for the entirety of the National Hockey League. Please stay tuned for further information from the Storm Cellar.
Welcome back to the Storm Cellar. Brad and Ray are here. We hopefully will have our guest join us in a little bit. A little miscommunication, entirely my fault for why he is not here yet. Life has been busy in Boston. Ray, how about in Calgary?
It's been busy, crazy, warm. It's everything. It's Calgary. We're heading into it's the end of summer, right? And so a little bit of the cooler temperatures are starting to waft in. Middle of September, things will start to cool down, and then at some point, probably early October, we'll get that first blast of snow.
Oh, we get snow in October occasionally.
Yeah.
Well, the highs now are no longer in the 80s. Right now we're in the upper 70s and nights are in the low 60s, and the ACs are out of the windows. And my favorite time of year, for sure.
It is. It's nice when I running hot. I know you do. I run hot all the time. And so anytime the temperatures can stay down into the mid-teens for the Celsius folk, it's great for me. And it's going to be, people are going to look at me strange. I'm wondering, in February, with the great game that comes, what are the temperatures in Raleigh in February on average? Are they mid 70s, 60s, 70s? Because I'm going to be out in shorts. I'm going to be, and they'll look at me and go, it'll be my identifier that, yes, there's a Canadian right there, because
I'll be in shorts and a jersey for sure. So February weather in Raleigh generally, so the trend over time is normally going to be highs in the mid to upper 50s. and lows between freezing and 40.
So you know what? It's going to be great.
If that holds, man, that'll be perfect weather for a hockey game. In my opinion. Because if you're in the upper 40s, mid 40s maybe at game time under the lights, and now I haven't been to a Wolfpack game at Carter Finley, who had a huge win over Texas A&M last night, by the way, and the boys were there. Svetch, Aho, Turbo, KK, Jarvis, the boys were all there, decked out Wolfpack gear. I loved it.
Nice.
For all you UNC and Duke fans, too bad.
Yeah,
but no, those guys kind of do it for whomever they're there. Huge upgrades at Carter Finley. They now have LED lighting installed, Ray, so they can cast red light over the entire stadium. It's really cool looking. I can't wait to see how they integrate that. Yes, it's gorgeous.
And that the media team is going to work really hard on something super special for that whole thing, and it's going to be fantastic. So many great things.
It's going to, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit.
You bet.
A couple of things going on today. The first one I'll bring up because it's weather related a little bit is Canes 5K was today to raise money for the Canes Foundation. Sold out. A lot of people who we know on Twitter were running today. They've already I think everybody's probably finished at this point. I think it started at 9 or something. Nice and early because it's still warm down there this time of year.
Oh yeah.
But congrats to everybody who ran. I'm going to run during my son's soccer game today, so I'm going to put the work in. That's part of my, get healthier goal. Is,
right.
5K won't be too hard for me, but I'm not going to run it. I'm going to walk/jog it. But congrats to everybody who ran it and raising money for a great organization.
If someone dangled a ribeye above, in front of my nose, I might run toward that. As long as it's just out of reach, I would run toward the ribeye, or you know what I mean.
I do.
I even when I was much thinner, I was never really a good runner. I was I could run short bursts and stuff, and I played a lot of basketball, and so there's quickness involved and stuff. But 5K is a long.
Right?
It's impressive. It's impressive for anyone now. And now the runners will look at me and say, 5K? Come on, that's
a
like a
warm up.
sprint. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But for me, 5K, it's great, and congratulations to everyone who got involved. And this is the type of thing that a lot of, I mean, every team kind of does it. You know what I mean? Where they have a foundation that they are raising money for. Lots of times it's 50-50, ticket buys and things of that nature. But when you can do something like this that's promoting good health, energy, camaraderie, just makes everyone that much tighter as
I think
fans.
for fans too, because it's at the PNC. I almost said RBC. It's at PNC,
Mm-hmm.
and so you get to see the building. You get to see some of the upgraded banners and things, right? I'm sure the pro shop will be open. It's I was thinking about. So you mentioned the ribeye trick. That would have the tacos would have been my thing back in the day. One of the people that I've met in person, Aaron Cohen on Twitter. Aaron seems to be a runner. That seems to be one of his things for fitness. So he posted from Vegas of the day. He's like, "This is the 5:30 a.m. running club," and my response was like, "There was a bear, right? Like you have to tell me there was a bear because there's no reason for anybody to run anywhere at 5:30 in the morning,
5:30 in the
unless
morning.
something is chasing you, something deadly."
Something deadly is chasing you. You're running for your life. Honestly, I just wow. I mean, I remember the days being a morning show host, right? And you're up at 3, and that was part of the gig, right? You were getting ready to go, and you wake up, get in, you're into the office by 4, and then you're starting your day planning and making sure everything's set to go when that 6 o'clock bell hits, right? But those days are long gone for me.
Yeah, and I'm like you. I was never. I don't enjoy running, but if I could be on skates, which I can't right now, I got bad knees. But when I lose some weight, hopefully, get back on skates, the exercise is not what I don't like. I just don't like running. I can play soccer. I mean, I can do that where I'm involved in a sport or something. But to just be like, okay, get on the treadmill or go outside and just run for an hour is like
running,
my worst
running for the sake of running is just not been my thing. But and I'm with you there as well. If it's part of a sport, you never think of it. You know what I mean? Because your urge to win is just so great that you're just, you're all in. You're giving her as hard as you can, and that's everything else takes over. So I get it. So congrats to that. Awesome.
Yeah, congrats to them. Good, great job. I'm sure everybody who whoever did what you could, whether you walked it, ran it, it's great just to get out there, be part of it, raise some money. The other thing going on today is the prospect tournament.
Yes.
The Canes got beat 6-1 by the Panthers in game 1. They're playing Nashville right now. I believe a lot of people are there at the Invisalign Arena watching. The only thing I really want to say, because it is available to watch on hurricanes.com. So you can watch it from the website if you want to tune in, although that won't be any good for you today since this won't come out for a few hours.
Right.
But don't put a lot of stock in this, good or bad. The Canes prospects got beat 6-1 by Florida. Completely irrelevant. It does not matter. If somebody comes out and scores 5 goals in a game today against Nashville, same thing. It doesn't really matter, right? These are not supposed to be full contact, full, they're not quite all-star games, but they're not really full like playoff game mentality either. And was it a Chicago prospect the other day who got a concussion in their game, I think yesterday?
Oh, man.
It's like you hate to see that for this type of game, because this isn't supposed to be, to that level.
Yeah, and even though it's not to that level, though, you also understand that for the prospects, this is like report card games. You know what I mean? And they are trying to make an impression. So it's not that there won't be a laissez-faire attitude or whatever. They're going to be giving it their all or whatever. But you're 100% right when you say, look, it is so early in the system. These are very young kids, giving her and stuff. They're doing what they can. Getting too excited or too whatever. I mean, take note of the guy that goes out and scores 5 goals. You check that off and say, great. but it's not, oh man, he's going to the top line of the team.
Yeah,
You know
nobody's
what I mean?
making
Like,
the team coming out
yeah,
of the showcase is the bit, but you could conversely maybe lose some of that,
no
standing.
question.
So, and there's no reason for somebody to get hurt in one of these. I mean, like
Oh
I said, it's
man,
not all-star game where there's no hitting or anything, but normally
yeah,
it's kind of that in between. Like, yeah, you need to go at it, but this should be like a men's A league here in Boston. Like, yes, you can hit and all, but you're not out to destroy the guy, because at the end of the day, you're still going right back to where you were, right?
yeah, 100%, 100%. So it'll be nice to see, maybe there'll be a few notes and stuff, like, people who went down to see the game, watch them. And I before we started recording, you were mentioning that, did I maybe I misunderstood this, that some of the guys were there watching the games too. Is that correct? Like the
Yeah, we've
prospect
definitely
team?
seen Jarvis, KK, Aho, Teravainen, I think, and Svetch, kind of the same group that was at the NC State game, I believe, have been seen around Invisalign Arena. So
Nice.
the boys are back in town. I had some friends from a message board that we both belong to before
Yep.
here, had mentioned, oh, they were like, oh, Tavo's on my flight. This was a week or so ago, and I was like, oh,
Wow.
that's cool. So he's back in town. Somebody else from the team was on that flight. So
I
sometimes it's fun to get some information that's, I mean, it's not super critical, but it's just kind of like, oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to know he's back in town, ready to work out. And everybody's a few weeks behind Bernsey. So
No question, man. He's been working all the way through, lifting the weights and stuff like that. That's playing Rod's tune right there. I mean, he's gonna love that. And it's funny, it like for him, it's a signal to everyone else. I know what the culture is here, and I'm bringing it. So, you've got another guy to look to do the same thing. It's been really nice to see, and the Carolina Hurricanes, social media team is second to none in the league. And they keep putting out these great pictures, and like they get these individual snapshots of the guys on the ice, and it wets your whistle, doesn't it?
it
It's
does,
like,
especially with
oh my
the new
God.
four photo format Twitter's using. The
Yeah.
Kane social media team has really done that, which is
It's
phenomenal job.
it's so great to see them on the ice, and it gets the juices flowing, you know what I mean? Like you want, oh man, pretty soon they're going to be actually in their full training camp, and then soon they're going to be doing their exhibition games and stuff, and then oh my god, opening night, you know what I mean? And like, I mean, it builds and builds and builds. It's, for me, and I'll say this, um for me, seeing these pictures, it makes me feel the way millions of football fans must have been feeling going up to for the NFL and their
Mhm.
first few games. There were so many people that were jacked up, excited, on edge about their team and what it's going to be and stuff. Like that's what it does for me. Like if you're a football fan and you know how you felt in those final few days right before the season started, that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I'm just jacked. I love
We're
seeing
9 days away from the first preseason game against Tampa Bay.
that is
And this time of year, I
crazy.
always have this, like, I always feel, my father-in-law, he would say, I feel jiggy. I feel amped up, and I'm not sure why. And every year I
Yeah,
feel that way and it takes me a day or two to really realize it. And I go, hockey season is probably just
hockey's in
almost
the
here.
air.
It's yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
it's in the air, and it's like that. I mean, here in Calgary, I can tell you the vibe is out there. The flags on the cars are out already. I mean, sometimes they never come down. There's a lot of fans that they would never come down, but I've seen a lot more of them of late. They are ready. They're ready for some big things here in Calgary, and the fans just dig it. It's just the way it is.
yeah, I'm same thing here. Like Bruins fans, they
Oh
fly
yeah.
flags, wear jerseys 12 months a year. So
Yep. Indeed. Good to go.
to go back to something you said a minute ago, I think it's the perfect way to transition into one of our topics. Uh,
Sure.
Kane's social media team. You mentioned the graphics they're putting up. They get you a little
Oh,
taste, a little wet your whistle.
yep.
And after last week, all of a sudden people were like, they put one out about the 25th anniversary, and eagle-eyed, folks spotted, that's the old style single flag Hurricanes logo.
Yep.
But it's not on a CCM or a Coho. That looks like that's a Adidas material. And they said, are we getting, the 25th anniversary? Is that going to be based on the original Reds? And as it turns out, other than the 25th anniversary in the collar, it looks identical.
Yeah.
And I kept laughing because I'm like, great, I already have one in my jersey, in my closet. I don't have to buy one. But I'm going to, right? I mean,
yeah.
What do you think? Like, just sticking with the classic. I mean, that to me has always been one of our best looking jerseys. I liked it more than the whites for sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. I mean, okay, here we go again with the whole money grab accusation, right? But it makes perfect sense for a 25th anniversary jersey release to go right back to basics, right to the very start where it all began. And yes, the flag on the shoulders is only tropical storm warning, right? I mean, yes, that's all it is. It fits into our program magnificently, I might add.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's something about those first jerseys. I was beside myself when I saw the jersey release, the logo, the everything, and I was like, that I have to have.
I still love it. I still like our original logo.
Great.
People call it like the toilet bowl. I get that. It's but it's different. Like it's not something that not only does your pro team have it, but so do 6 colleges and 4,000 high schools.
Yep.
And for the people who don't like the single flag, I get your reasoning. I prefer the double flags myself.
Yep.
As far as like a main, but I look at it the same way I look at movies. When I hear, the movie wasn't as good as the book it was based on.
Yeah.
And my answer is always, well, it wasn't based on a book. It was based on a screenplay, and the screenplay was based on a book, which is semantics maybe, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, it's a symbol, and symbols don't have to be realistic per se. They don't have to be an accurate representation. They're just supposed to be a representation. Yeah. I always thought that was a cool symbol. I do prefer the dual flag logo on the hockey stick we have now, just because I think it's when you look at, you see the negative space North Carolina outline and things like those things are just super cool to me. But I thought that was a great take from Tom. And I look at, Ray's holding up his right here, and it's a great looking symbol. I mean, it's a great looking logo.
It's a great symbol. Like it's a really great symbol. I mean, the flag torn, you know what I mean? Like it's a torn flag from the fierceness of the wind. The stick is, wicked bent there. I mean, it looks great. It was a great setup. I loved it. I love that they're going, and again, as my leanings about respecting history and stuff like that through the team with the franchise, they're playing my song. You know what I mean? When they take it right back to the very beginning, I absolutely love it. It's the way it should be. Coming up with something new for the 25th, although cool and unique, it's not a celebration of how many years. Like you go back to the start where everyone was excited, save a few Hartford Whaler fans in Hartford. It was, that's what we want. It's a fantastic release. I really liked it. It was sharp.
One of my first tweets, and it just struck me. I said, it's nice of them to get Rod Brindamore to model that for us. And, I posted the clip of him hoisting the cup in it.
Yeah.
That jersey, for that reason alone, is special.
Yep.
They could have done something different for the 25th. We've already remarked on the program about the ice and the logo they're using for the 25th. Like, I wouldn't want that. Like, I'd like to see that as a patch on that 25th jersey. That would be super sweet. But we got 2 more jerseys coming this year, Ray. Right?
Wow.
This is a reverse retro year for the NHL. So there'll be a reverse retro jersey. I'm assuming that's going to be something different that we haven't seen. and we got a Stadium Series jersey. And the
man.
only thing I ask is the previously leaked Stadium Series jerseys that were like all black with the dark red numbers. Please don't do those. Those looked hideous. I hated them.
They? I didn't get a chance to see them.
I will send you a picture. I don't know if it was ever confirmed that these were definitely, but a lot of the rumors seem to be like these are what the prototype was before the game was moved. I did not like them at all. I would love to see our stadiums. I would like to either one of them. I would like to see our reverse retro be a throwback to. It would probably be similar to like the really old Blackhawks jerseys. Like I'm going way back, right? With just the big bold stripes, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Or like the really old Timo Must Not Be Named jerseys, where where sweaters were actually hand stitched.
Yeah,
I'd love to see some big bold stripes, right?
That would be cool.
With the primary logo on them. I think that would be a really sweet. I've thrown up on Twitter. I'll throw them up again. Some ideas about what they could do that would be nice. Stadium Series jerseys. I would love to see them do something. I like it. Like I liked the Nashville jerseys last year. A lot of people didn't because the letters were different sizes and some were capitals and some weren't. And it was blue negative space on gold. I like it when teams go bold. But I also like European jerseys. I like the KHL jerseys. I like the German in the La Liga jerseys where they have advertisers and they put these. And Nike does a good job. Nike is. We can even talk about, with Adidas no longer going to be the jersey manufacturer, who's going to be next? Right. And part of me thinks Nike because when they hit hard, and those jerseys look great. The problem is when they miss, like they did with the men's national team soccer jerseys.
Oh, okay.
Or the last set of hockey jerseys where you had blue sweaters and blue pants, but they were two different shades of blue.
Oh, yeah.
Nike's hit or miss. So. But I like bold. So I want to see bold. I want to see, like, I don't know, like a pure black jersey with like dark gray numbers with red outlines or just something that's totally unique that we've never seen before.
And that would be sharp. And it would, I think it's going to have to be something that's, you mentioned bold. Bold is the perfect word for it. It kind of has to be based on the environment where the game is being played in. You know what I mean? Like as far as providing best sight, best knowing. I mean, there's some seats in the stadium that you're just not going to be able to know which guy it is because you're so far back. You're going to be nuts. You can't distinguish the numbers. Right. And that's just, that's just going to be the way it is.
So for Ray, I'm just throwing up.
Look at that.
Sorry to NC State, Duke, Appalachian State, other fans. This year's black NC State football jerseys are super sweet. I would love to see something maybe based on these, which would make sense for the Stadium Series, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen them, they're black jerseys, white stripes like over the shoulders, white numbers outlined in red. Yeah, something like that I think could be really, really cool for the Stadium Series, and it ties in. Carter Finley is immediately adjacent to PNC Arena where they're going to be playing the Stadium Series. Like the Wolfpack Centennial Authority owns, part of PNC. Like that was a collaboration effort, right? So, this is not to dismiss the other schools at all, even though go Wolfpack, but it would be a good look and a good tie-in. They would sell. I'm already putting money aside for those. So,
yeah. Squirreling away the money there to make sure that you can afford to a few mementos, if you will, that you'll be proud to wear, keep, display, however you like. Let's talk about it now. We were mentioning these jerseys for the stadium game. Stadium tickets were released. And there was good and bad in this. I would like to start with the good. And I would like to say, I had no idea how I was going to get tickets. None.
Money usually works great.
And money were understood. But like to secure seats, to know and bring it to fruition, especially when the tickets were being released just as season ticket holders had the opportunity to pick up these tickets. And I'm like, okay, I kind of expected that perhaps I was going to need to go the scalper way or whichever, you know what I mean, a resale of some sort, and pay more. It's worth paying, you know what I mean, like arm and a leg. That's where I'm at. And we had some amazing people step up to make sure to give you and me a chance to do our podcast at the game.
Huge caniacs, right? As Tripper
Exactly.
would say. So real quick, because I don't even know if you know the folks. So I was in the same boat as you. Yeah. Being in Boston, I said, even when general sale tickets go available, if there are any, they may restrict it by zip code.
Yep.
Right. And then we're both out. We're both at the secondary market. And now we're looking at $300 or $400 a seat.
Sure.
So the first person, so several people reached out, and they didn't mind me naming on Twitter, so I don't mind naming here. Archer for Canes reached out. She said, "Are you really looking for tickets now?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm just the type of person. I need to know I have tickets, and then I don't have to worry about it. Like I need, one of those folks." She was not able to secure any. Your friend Ant reached out, and I said, "I need 3 for me, but I need 2 for Ray. So I don't know what you can do, but if you can help, awesome." And he was able to secure 3 initially.
Just amazing.
And then Carrie Jean reached out as well. And I said, somebody's gotten some for me, but Ray's coming from Calgary. If there's anything you can do to help out Ray, she was able to find you the 2 tickets that you needed. Without even, I told them both. I'm like, I have the money. I can send you the Venmo like right now, but there's still a lot of trust there, right? I mean,
there is, there 100% is.
So the fact that they were willing to do that was amazing. A few other people reached out. A couple of people said, "Oh, had I seen this earlier, I would have offered." It just goes to show you, what great folks that we have a chance to interact with on Canes Twitter. It's by and large, I think everybody who we get a chance to interact with and talk to, and who listen to the show, and who, some of them we haven't had on yet, but we wanted to, are just tremendous folks, because I really didn't know quite how it was going to work. And it was such a catastrophe from the Kane side. We can talk about that in a minute, but I just, thanks to them, especially because, I got, I think 4 or 5 or 6 people messaged me, throughout the day. And then a couple more after that, but, "Oh, I'm glad to see you got seats. I was thinking about you, but I'm a partial ticket holder, so I was going to offer if you didn't have any," kind of thing. So thank you to those folks, especially.
Allow me to wax poetic / philosophical for a moment. We are, and I think this is not a hot take that requires oven mitts. The world that we're in right now generally is very, there's a toxicity. There is a tribal aspect to virtually everything. Everyone is on edge. Everyone seems angry. You know what I mean? At everything. Things that are just upsetting us, difficulties that we're having in life. It is so hard for some to find the good. You know what I mean? Yep. But when you find the good like this, and the generosity and the kindness, that it kind of reinstates that faith in people. And they're the people that will just go out of their way to make sure that you're taken care of, that you're happy, that they want to see. It's as, and I know the way it is for me. I'm sure it's the way for them as well. Helping someone out in these situations makes you feel as good as it does them. Just 100%. Because you love seeing them happy. You love seeing other people happy, or trying to make people happy. And that's what these people are doing. That's what
I mean, that's
us.
what it is to be a good person, right? Because
Yeah.
they didn't do it. It's not like, you know, I mean, nobody said, "Oh, I'll get them for you for an extra $50 or anything." There's like, "Oh, like if you need tickets, like I have tickets I can get for you."
Yeah.
And you know, I promised them some Parkers, and you know,
I can't. Yeah. Look, we'll be, we'll there. And here's the thing: when we finally get down there, the warning to everyone is, I'm a hugger. Okay.
he's a hugger.
I'm a hugger. I know you're a hugger. There's going to be a lot of hugging going on. And there's going to be a lot, like right now, the excitement now has switched a tiny bit. Not only is it to see a ton of people that I've seen once already, but meeting a bunch of other folks that I hadn't met, that I've met since that time online, to see them all. But I mean, to do the show.
And honestly, I'm looking forward to the tailgating as much as the game.
Absolutely.
For that reason. So I'm still on one of the old message boards that you and I were on. I've already told them that you and I have secured tickets. They were like, "Hey, we haven't had a get together in years. Ray's coming. Like, we got to do this, right?" So there's that group. There's all the folks that we've met on Twitter that I can't wait to say hi to in person.
Oh my gosh.
And put you know, real faces with, instead of just pictures with names. To say thank you. Absolutely. So I'm as much looking forward to the tailgating aspect. Even friends of mine, I mean, I don't get back to Raleigh that much, and even when I do, it's normally during the week and things. So it's when my friends are working, I don't get to see folks. You know, good friend of mine, Brad Carpenter, he and his wife have been season ticket holders forever. They're friends with Paul, you know, from Scotland. I can't, like, I haven't even seen them in person in like I saw them the last time I was at a Hurricanes game, and that has to be 5 years ago at minimum. So even the connections of friends that I've had a long time that I just don't get a chance to see because we have a little one and we just didn't travel. You know, so I feel like my plan is, the hotel is like a couple of blocks, so I'm not going to drive to the game. So you know, either folks from the message board or Brad or somebody, I'm sure, is going to have a tent and parking spaces, and I'm like, you know, I'm going to do that. I'm going to wear my Storm Cellar jersey throughout pregame, so I'm easy to find. And I would just like to meet as many of these Caniacs as we can. If we can get short little interviews or snippets from people throughout the day, we'll put it together into an episode. I think if we spend 30 minutes broadcasting live, I think that'd be really cool. Have people join us and just fade in and out. I'm definitely bringing Parker's Barbecue is the best barbecue in the world. That's a statement. That's not a question. I'm going to swing through Mount Airy, North Carolina. We have a couple listeners from Mount Airy, from the Dobson area, actually, and see some cousins who still may make corn alcohol at home. So there may be half a gallon of that for anybody over 21 who wants to come by. And I'm not much of a drinker, but I'll raise a glass that day at least.
Tip a glass with some great.
So I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to this. This is the thing that's been on my radar since, you know, I mean,
before the cancellation,
15,
right?
like 15 years now, we've been asking for it and begging for it. Like, you know, I remember when, for the 10th anniversary, the black jerseys were released. I've mentioned before, I was in a meeting with Jimmy Rutherford and a bunch of season ticket holders, about 20 of us, to talk about how they could improve fan experience. And he let it slip. He's like, because somebody said, like, will we ever get a black jersey? And he was like, I'm not supposed to say anything, but yes, don't tell, you know, and like, you'll know when you can tell. And as far as I know, we all kind of kept our mouths shut. You know, the NHL draft did not make the All-Star game. It's the one event that I've missed. Unfortunately, there's nothing I could do about that. You know, Ronnie's retirement, you know, Brendy, Wesley. So this was another one of those, like, there's no way I'm missing this. I'm very glad to have gotten tickets and not paid $400 or $500. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, there's been a lot of miscommunication, or rather lack of communication. The Hurricanes have now kind of said retroactively, all the tickets were not released at once. There are blocks of tickets available for partial season ticket holders that go out on October 4th. There will be reserved tickets even after that for both the NHL and for probably the Caps, I'm assuming, and for general admission. So as far as I can tell, there will be seats available to the public. Now, they're probably going to be upper end zones that are farther from the ice. But if you haven't gotten tickets, don't panic. The fact that there was no information from the league until it was time to start picking seats was such a disservice to the hockey community. I mean, but it's the NHL. Like, that's what they do, right? They're just, it's a reason they're not a top 3 league anymore. Yeah. It's a reason they're 4th or 5th.
Coordination is lacking. Yeah.
It's but so if you haven't gotten seats, don't panic. There will be tickets available. The one guy trying to sell a ticket for $10,000 in the upper end zone, you don't need to buy that ticket. Tickets will be available. They're probably going to run you. If you have to hit the resale market, you should be able to get tickets for $200 or $250, which is high. But for an event of this magnitude, I had originally budgeted $200 a ticket. I was like, $200 a ticket is not unusual for this.
100%.
And so, if you end up scoring one for $250, even the resale market, that's not terrible. It's a lot of money to go to a hockey game. If you can't get a ticket, can't afford a ticket, come tailgate.
Exactly.
It's $7 to park. If you got $7, we'll feed you. You know what I mean? Like there will be food available. If we fed the Oilers fans in 2006, we'll feed Caniacs, right?
Yeah.
So even if you can't get into the game, come. You never know who might end up with an extra seat that they would be willing to part with free or cheap day of, because they don't have, somebody got sick or somebody canceled, or if you don't think you can make it, come out. Find us. Like if Ray and I are in our Storm Cellar jerseys, we're not hard to find.
No, we're
not
the
hard
chains
to miss
too, and everything. Yeah. You're not going to. You'll know when you see us. The chains are going to be around our neck, and the jerseys, awesome. It's what we're in a great place. We're very excited.
We are,
and unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to be able to get our guest on here today. So you know what?
It's not the first time.
It's not the first time that it's happened.
No biggie.
And but you know what? The door is always open to the Storm Cellar. Okay, if you want to join us on the program, hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Facebook as well. Let us know. We'd love to fit you in. We'd love to talk hockey. It's 9 days away, as you said.
We have one more broadcast after today before there's hockey.
Yeah.
And two broadcasts where you're going to have actual hockey to talk about, right?
Yeah.
It's preseason, but it's still hockey.
It is still hockey, and we're going to be able to see a few things and talk about some of the players and the setups and stuff like that. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. We've covered all sorts of things. Again, congrats to the 5K runners, and we've talked about so much.
Save it. This is the year to save your money on Kane stuff, because there's potentially 3 jerseys and tickets to buy. Like I 100%. Said, other than that, come to the tailgate. We'll provide food and drink.
Squirrel your money away and get ready.
Do your best.
With that said, there's only one thing left to say at this point.
Go Canes.
Go Canes.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Ray and I greatly appreciate your support in helping us produce an informative and fun podcast. As always, we'd like to say that we believe hockey is for everyone. Whether you're a Caniac or a bunch of jerks, doesn't matter, as we're just a couple of jerks anyway. We would love to hear your questions, comments, and suggestions. We will do our best to answer anything hockey related. You can reach us via email at stormcellar97@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are at stormcellar97, and on Facebook at facebook.com/stormcellar97.